We have going to have a class today yang tajuk dia adalah Engineering Ethics. Because sebelum ni kita sudah berbincang tentang how the human started, isn't it? And we already understand a little bit about the moral value of the human, kan? Betul lah, kelas lah? So hari ini kita akan bincang pasal more specific on the engineering ethics. Probably next week kita akan bincang pula dari segi the specific how the Board of Engineers of Malaysia required you to register as a engineer. Once you have graduated, you need to register as a graduate engineer. Then after that, to become the professional engineer and so on. And other registration required by the Board of Engineer in order for you to practice. So minggu ni we will talk about in general about the engineering ethics first. So the moral and the ethics itself and specific. Okay, class? You okay, kan? Okay, look at the slide that I given to you. Ada kan slide tu? So the first thing that I notice kan, yang kita ni dari segi etik lah kan, atau dari segi moral and ethics. You know, some people say our practice di sini, I think more specific in Malaysia, isn't it? We love to have something like don't have a stand, isn't it? So kita selalu berada dalam keadaan what do you call it? Play safe. Am I correct? Betul ke tidak? Anyone to answer me?
Yeah.
Do you understand what does it mean? Play safe. You don't dare to make decisions, and sometimes you just standing on the middles. You know, so these are things is not good actually. You need to make decision in certain things that you must make decision. So that's why what I want to bring you today is actually that's why I only say that don't raise two hands. Betul kan? Sama lah juga kan? Artinya bila you raise two hands, what does it mean? It means you are surrender. So always learn how to raise one hand. Right? So this is things that you need to understand. Why on the first page there, I'm putting very clear statements. Don't raise both hands. Learn to raise one hand only, kan? Artinya kalau kita supporting, of course you don't raise two hands, isn't it? So those two hands mean surrender. Okay, you go to the next slide. Engineering juga they start with the morals, right? So anything that start with the morals. So what basically the morals? Yeah, the morals kalau kita tengok dia ada 4 segment. The first one is moral, ada principle or habits, yeah, or respect to rights or wrong of one own conduct, isn't it? So bergantung kepada you punya conduct. So however, moral ni is not really something that you need to impose to others. Sebab the moral probably from one different punya culture to other culture may have different, right? So sebab tu dia tidak impose, dia tidak ada law that need to impose. But morally right, morally wrong, and right or wrong is different on the culture, right? So bergantung, berbeza dari satu culture kepada satu culture yang lain. So true morals are not imposed. Walaupun kita tidak impose, they also can be understood is a preaching our inner. Artinya itu adalah nilai dalaman kita, ya. So the moral is your internal value. So of course this will depend on kamu punya experience dan sebagainya, kan. So pembentukan moral dalam diri itu depend on your experience, you know. So how far that you can accept that value, isn't it? So means that the moral are what you think is good and bad personally. Ya, macam mana memikir kalau diri kita sendiri, you think that this is good, this is bad. So some people may say that this is okay, but this is not okay or bad. So these are actually the moral value. So moral are always defined by own personality. Artinya kamu punya personality tersendiri, ya. Okay kan? Then you understand, huh? So means that you cannot impose your moral. Cuma moral ni, kalau kita duduk dalam society, there are similarity in term of moral that we can accept. So that's why dalam mana-mana sistem, macam katalah dalam politik dan sebagainya, dia dikatakan sebagai public prosecution. Kalau dia kata moral ni adalah tidak betul, although legally you cannot say that, you cannot prove that, tapi secara moral dia adalah dia being prosecuted through moral value, because the value of the moral of certain punya community ni, dia sudah well accepted. So if you do differently, so means that you are considered out of the norms, ya. Walaupun dia actually moral ni individually, tapi apabila dia berada dalam society, it's a bit different. So you maybe need to follow what the people used to do it, ya. You understand? Misalnya lah, katalah dari segi moral, simple morals, ya. Dekat di mana-mana, I mean in Malaysia, especially girls, ladies, So for the Muslim people, if there was something that orang kata menjulur mata semua, morally it's not right, isn't it? Everyone blaming. But indeed, about wrong or right, it's nothing to say wrong, kecuali dari segi dia punya faith, isn't it? Faith are bringing the moral itself to be imposed to the people. So, jadi artinya dia berbeza, kan? So, that's why the moral can be changed according to the belief, as they are completely dependent on one perception toward the ethical value. So, what is ethic? Yeah. So the ethic are set of rules or principle that are generally considered is standard or good and bad or right and wrong, which are usually imposed by external group or the society or appropriation, atau macam kau punya bidang, kan, ada peraturan-peraturan dia. So they call it, they bring it sebagai, they impose sebagai ethic. Misalnya plagiarism, isn't it? At the university you cannot do plagiarism. Well, if you do the plagiarisms, maka kamu akan mungkin jadi gagal dan sebagainya, isn't it? There are some rules and regulation that you need to fulfill. That's the ethic. So ethic can be understood is the rules of conduct. So macam mana dia conduct, kan? Macam juga katalah kamu buat exam, the ethical dia tidak boleh meniru. But kalau kamu meniru, then it's salah. Tapi certain extent, some exam are open book or open what. So means is different. So it's a rules and regulation set by atau imposed by external group, ya, bergantung. So dia akan berbeza-beza based on the scenario. But you need to follow if you are actually in that. I mean, you berada dalam keadaan yang mana you have to follow the rules and regulation or the ethic on that particular things that you learn. Okay? So the ethic are principle followed depending upon the moral responsibility that a person feel. So katalah saya rasa okay, plagiarism ni salah, tidak betul, then I will impose. Then it become if you meniru sebagai pelajar, so it become non-ethical and you boleh dijatuhkan hukuman. That's what that mean. So, if you look at ethic versus moral, so in most cases, when any one of us doing something, we try to act according to what society believes is right. More often, we listen closely to what our beliefs about rights or wrong are telling us. Yeah. So even if they are different from the society views, sometimes walaupun dia berbeza, this have to do with ethics and moral. So the meaning ethics refer to the rules that social system provide us, isn't it? While the moral are our own principle. So artinya kamu punya principle, ya. Yang etik adalah something rules that imposed by social system that provide to you. Okay? Any question? No, eh? So sekarang kita go into dimension of trust. What is dimension of trust? Oh, kita selalu cakap, wow, I don't believe lah, I don't trust it, I don't know. But in engineering, what does it mean? The dimension of trust should be defined. So okay, dalam engineering, what is the dimension of the trust? So if you look at they are divided into 5. First, they call it integrity. The integrity we are talking about honesty and truthfulness. It means that the integrity, when you make certain comment or you make certain things, you must be based on the honesty and truthfulness, based on fact and figures, isn't it? Fakta-fakta, science. Fakta-fakta, data, numbers. Yeah. So, and you are honest to tell it. It's not just telling half-cooked. So, because you are not honest, there's something that you are hiding. You're only telling something that favor to what you want. That is not honest. So the integrity come into honesty in truthfulness. Then the second one, they talk about competence. What does it mean, competence? Yeah, competent, you must be technically competent with the knowledge and skill. So biasa if you talk about competent ni sekarang kamu ambil degree, isn't it? When you take the degree, then you get a bachelor's. So it means that you have considered, you've been tested, have the knowledge, isn't it? You sudah ada knowledge. Tapi are you sure that you have the skill, set of skill that required? So because competence, the terms of competence, it has to come both. Have a knowledge and you can do it things. Ya, serupa juga misalnya, okay, katalah kamu cerita pasal computer, macam mana mau buat. You can talk academically, that's they call it academically or knowledge wise, you have it. But it come into you want to do it by yourself, so you need a set of skill that you need to practice. So it means that competence can only come after you have the knowledge. In your case, macam mana knowledge kamu dapat? Satu cara dia adalah through education, isn't it? Daripada darjah, daripada tadika sampailah kepada university. And in engineering, if you take engineering courses, it means that technically you are competent in terms of knowledge because you are taking the engineering courses. But if you are taking other courses, you are not competent, right? So the basic is, oh yeah, you kena ada degree dalam engineering. Then selepas tu perlu apa ada lagi? The skills. What is a skill? Skill maksudnya, itulah saya kata tadi, you kena practice, you kena belajar sampai you boleh buat. Let's say for instance, the skill. Okay, saya kata saya ada komputer yang rosak. Begini-begini. Can you do it? If you can do it and done it and prove it, it works, afterwards, mean you already have a set of skill. But of course, there is a minimum knowledge and minimum skill required. For engineer, minimum knowledge maksudnya kamu kena ada di degree dalam kejuruteraan, dalam engineering, ya. So, okay, that's already 2, isn't it, for the competent. Ada soalan lagi? Class? Do you have questions? Tiada? Okay, we proceed. Then lepas tu consistency. So sebagai engineer juga, we must be predictable. There is nothing surprise about engineering. People must be able to predict and it is consistent. Kalau you punya decision dulu begitu, yang akan datang pun people already be able to understand. That will be the decision, right? Okay, you understand kan? Okay, moral ada Kevin Lim said moral is right wrong in the prospect of ourselves. Ethical is right wrong in the prospect of everyone. Ya, betul. Maksudnya dia ada etik tu lebih spesifik dalam society dan you have to follow because it's already yang besar punya kan. Okay, yang kembali kepada consistency. So consistency ini mesti ada reliability, predictability, good judgment, and handling the situations. Macam sekarang COVID. So what do you think? Yeah. So we will look at in terms of the reliability. What the reliability we are looking at? The data. Is it the data reliable? Is it predictable? So you see the prediction, isn't it? And is it a good judgment? For instance, we want to introduce the MCO, misalnya kan? Is it a good judgment to handle the situation? So sebab dalam bila we talk about situation, there always be dua keadaan. Macam keadaan dalam COVID ni kan, satu dari segi health and safety, satu dari segi ekonomi. So there are two, right? So this has to be looking at both situation before you come into a good judgment. What is a good judgment? A good judgment, then you need to kena buat pertimbangan. Yeah? Okay, now the next we talk about loyalty. Yeah, what is loyalty? Loyalty, sama siapa kita loyal? To who we loyal? Right? So we don't know. To who? Kepada dia, we don't know. So it's an engineer, to who you should loyal. Okay? Willingness to protect and save face of a person. Tapi kalau dari segi engineer, to who you should loyal? Is it you're looking to the society, or you're looking to you punya employee, atau ya orang yang bagi kerja dan sebagainya? Itu kita akan bincang nanti ya. Di mana sebenarnya letaknya you punya loyalty? Is an engineer. Remember, you are sitting is a engineer. Ya. Sebagai engineer di mana kamu punya loyal? First, under this loyalty nanti saya akan bagi beberapa contoh soalan yang mana kamu perlu pertimbangan antara kepentingan society dan juga dengan kamu punya orang yang bagi kamu pekerjaan, ya, ataupun where the company that offer you a job. So sometimes there are quite these two, you don't know which one to decide. Misalnya kan, okay, you want to open you're working with a certain company, they're asking you to open a factory somewhere nearby dekat satu kawasan. Tapi pada masa yang sama, dia kata kesan dia begini. So how you gonna do? Yes, of course you will do judgment, isn't it? But there always be a balance, between two, isn't it? So that need to be understand. So ini biasanya soalan-soalan professional engineer if you want to go for the PE. Then selepas tu openness. Openness what does it mean? Kita kena mesti terbuka. Willingness to share ideas and information freely. So as an engineer, make sure that we are willing to share the information. Yeah? Willing to share the information secara ataupun you punya information atau you punya idea secara bebas. Don't really worry, ya. So sebab itu kerja kita. Sebab kerja kita adalah untuk menjadikan dunia ni much better. Ya. So, okay. So that is the dimension of trust. Yeah, willingness to accept. What do you mean willingness to accept? Tan, can you voice it out? Mana si Tan?
Hello?
Yeah. Explain me what you mean about willingness to accept mistake.
Betul.
Pardon?
Oh, I mean we have to accept our mistake also lah. Instead of we just reject. We have to face to our mistake.
Yeah, that's why they call it openness, isn't it? Openness, you must tell the truth. Not only that, that one they call it that one not under openness. That one's rather more toward the integrity. The first one, isn't it?
Oh,
Right? Yeah, integrity, honesty, and truthfulness. But openness is actually rather you want to share your idea. Because some engineer, they try to hide because they said, wah, ini simpan, ini sembunyi dan sebagainya kan? Betul kan? That's not an engineer. Engineer should tell the knowledge, to share the knowledge with others. Okay? Okay, now basically sudah kita tahu semua tu kan secara general dia what is ethic, moral, dimension of the trust. What is engineering ethics? So the engineering ethics, if you look at here, is actually the process of developing an efficient mechanism which quicken or ease of work using limited resources with the help of technology. Engineering ni kerja dia memang macam tu. Dia kalau boleh dia mau kurangkan resources. What is other example of resources? Human resource, for instance. One of example misalnya di Sabah kan. Di Sabah apa berjadi? Wah, kita ada banyak palm oil, isn't it? When we have a lot of palm oil, we need a lot of labor intensive, isn't it? So what's the purpose of engineering? So they are trying to bring the technology, they create new technology, right? So in order to reduce the resources, isn't it? What else? Another engineering work, misalnya, okay, you have some device which consume a lot of energy, misalnya aircon atau sebagainya kan. So you reduce it, but it still function the same. So that is the purpose of engineer. So of course, with the help, akhirnya dia menjadi teknologi. But the engineering itself is developed into fundamentally. Macam mana dia boleh reduce, and finally, once you already develop, it become technology, and the people keep improving the technology. While if you talk about ethics macam tadi, is a principles accepted by societies, right? Ya, apa yang diterima ethical tu yang diterima oleh society. So which also equate to a moral standard of human being. Still juga dia berkait dengan moral. Cuma bezanya etik ni dia lebih spesifik, yang mana diterima ya. Okay. And of course, an engineer with ethics can help the society in a better way. So if you have an ethical, artinya macam tadi, balik kepada yang trust tadi tu kan, balik kepada yang awal tadi, dimension of trust, then that will tell the ethics, isn't it? So if you combine both engineering ethics, where such ethics are implemented and engineering by the engineer, it is necessary for the good of the society. Bila kamu combine dia dua-dua, satu engineering ni, engineering juga they call it problem solving, right? Problem solving, apa problem dia? Resources limited dan sebagainya, isn't it? Then finally, the engineering ethics also is a study of decision, policies, and value that are morally desirable in engineering practice and research. Maksudnya, kalau kamu tengok engineering ethic ni, sebab ethic ni dia akan jadikan satu benda tu sebagai polisi, sebagai peraturan, dan ini semua ni datang daripada moral value yang accepted by the committee of the engineering punya community, isn't it? So from there, they translate into the engineering ethics. Okay? Now you understand? Macam saya sudah bagi tahu dulu kan, a moral, when the moral has been accepted by many or by the profession, so it become the ethic, right? Are you okay?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So any question? Class? Ada yang mau share? Nanti lepas ni kita akan tengok case study ya. Case study macam mana kamu boleh mempertimbangkan satu-satu case yang berada di antara dua scenario. So this is basically yang biasa ditanya dalam soalan-soalan sebagai jadi professional engineer. So there are things which decision that you should make, isn't it? So that we go into later on. Saya akan bagi juga beberapa soalan-soalan professional engineer. So dalam etik, moral and ethic, supaya kamu boleh tengok what's the decision that you should do. So there is no wrong or right, but it will depend on the how you explain it, and how, from which perspective that you're looking at, the morally. And lepas tu dari segi etik, kita akan tengok pula macam mana. Yeah. Okay, the engineering ethics, the study related to question about moral ideas, characters, policies, relationship of people and organization involved in technological activity can be termed as the engineering ethics. So itu secara general dah, secara keseluruhan dia definisi dia apa dia engineering ethics ya. So but there is no specific definition. But what is engineering ethics? Of course, as I said, the moral which is agreed by the society of engineers, certain particular place, and then it become the engineering ethics. Yeah. So an engineer, whether he works individually or work for a company, has to go through some ethical issue. memang kamu akan melalui ini nanti, ethical issue. Mostly under the condition such as conceptualization of a product, issue rising in design and testing, ya, department dan sebagainya kan. Banyak benda tu yang kamu akan lihat bahawa dari segi kepentingan moral and ethic in order to make decisions, ya. So, the engineering ethic, kalau kamu tengok pula kepada dua kategori, dia boleh dikategorikan sebagai satu, they call it macro ethics, and satu macro ethics. Yeah, what is macro? What is micro? Sorry, micro ethic. Micro ethics actually a personal decision about ethical situation in life and career. Ya, dari segi kamu punya personal, persendirian. Misalnya individual ethic, dia goes into honesty, integrity and fairness. Ini individu kan, yang perlu kamu patuhi. Lepas tu professional ethics. So dari segi professional ethics ini yang micro. Micro termasuk dalam competent, adherence to the safety and ensuring the quality. You look at individual ethics and professional ethics. There are two, isn't it? The individual ethics ni biasanya apply to everyone. Honesty, integrity and fairness. Kita kena honest, kita kena ada integrity dan kita ada fairness. Then while professional ethics pula, we are talking about competence. It's been explained before kan, what is competence. And then you talk about adherence to the safety. Kamu kena mematuhi standard keselamatan dan kesihatan. Dan kita ada di sini, kalau macam kita di Malaysia, kita ada Jabatan Kesihatan dan Keselamatan Pekerjaan, isn't it? And then of course there are other things as well lah, yang control the safety and ensuring the quality. So kamu kena pastikan bahawa the quality that meant for has to be there. Ada soalan on the micro ethics? Class? Yes?
No, pa.
No? Oh, semua okay ya? Hilal okay ya semua? Ha? Yeah. Okay. Then, we go into the macro. Macro is benda besar kan? Micro is specific to the individual, right? Macro is, you talk about collective or social responsibility of the engineering profession or society decision. Misalnya Board of Engineer. Board of Engineer is the collective, right? So, dia juga dibagi kepada dua. Satu they call it professional ethics, ya. Then satu lagi social ethics. The professional ethics actually, misalnya product liability, environmental protection and public welfare. Ya, ini adalah professional ethics yang perlu dipenuhi secara makro. Ya. And then secondly, social ethics, you talk about sustainable development and bioethics. What is bioethics? Ya, involved dengan biologi. Kamu pergi ubah ini binatang jadi itu dan ini sebagainya kan? That is we talk about bioethics, isn't it? Or probably you do GMO using engineering, isn't it? So you have to look at from the social ethics, right? So tidak boleh. Sebab tu kadang-kadang yang misalnya manusia kamu mau melahirkan sendiri tidak boleh, because you are actually put under the social ethics, isn't it? Any question? So maksudnya macro ethic kita akan tengok dalam bentuk kolektif, organization, right? Ataupun satu-satu badan. Dalam kes ni misalnya NGOs. Itu micro. Kalau di Malaysia, kalau engineering punya, kita ada Board of Engineer. Lepas tu kita ada IAM, Institute of Engineers Malaysia, right? So these are a body, or probably the Chemical Institute of Engineer. This is they call it, they're looking from the macro perspective based on dia punya area atau dia punya spesifik kepakaran, ya. So di sana dia akan tengok dari segi professional ethics dan social ethics, ya. Any problem? Tiada? Good. We move on. Kemudian kita kena relating to the engineering. Dalam engineering, dalam engineering kita kena tahu kita ada juga orang selalu katakan sebagai engineers virtues. Apa you punya value, virtue you ada, yang sifat-sifat yang perlu ada. Lepas tu mana sifat-sifat yang tidak boleh ada sama engineer? Of course yang bertentangan lah kan. yang mesti ada, macam tadi balik kepada yang 5 tadi kan. You kena ada competence, honesty, courage, fairness, loyalty, humanity, dan ada lagi. This is only an example. While dia punya lawan dia adalah misalnya you are not competent, dishonest, unfairness, disloyal, or arrogant. So arrogant also you cannot do. It's an engineer, you know. Don't be arrogant. We must be humble. Yeah, it's an engineer. So the scope of engineering ethics, if you look at that, dari segi scope dia dalam engineering ethics, kita ada engineering is a social implementation. The engineer responsible for safety, responsibility for employee, rights of engineers, global issues, engineer and manager, consultant and hearers, and moral reasoning and ethical theories. This is all the scope of engineering ethics. Dia luas ya. So sebab tu the ethical decision and moral value of an engineer need to be considered, because the decision of an engineer have an impact the product and the service. Dia akan bagi impact kepada apa produk yang kita produce. Produk makanan, produk apa lagi? Kenderaan dan sebagainya, isn't it? And also they also have an impact toward the kita punya service. Misalnya you punya building design or probably plant design, semua ni adalah akan relates to our product and service. So how safety they are to use, misalnya kamu buat design, sejauh mana dia punya safety. Tapi remember, the more you increase the safety features of your design, the more the cost will be increasing. So that need to be balanced. Then kamu kena tengok dia punya keadaan, isn't it? That's why it become ethical, isn't it? Satu benda yang perlu dipenuhi. Apa design dia yang perlu dipenuhi? Sebab tu dari segi moral dia begini, kemudian dari segi etik dia more specific, isn't it? So that's why also the public and the society who trust the company regarding the benefit of the people. So these are few steps to deal with issues. Moral awareness, cognitive moral reasonings, moral coherence, moral imagination, and moral communications. Ya, semua ni kamu kena terangkan what is steps to deal with the issue. Katalah kamu ada issue. So the first apa yang perlu buat adalah moral awareness, right? Or misalnya masa issue COVID, isn't it? COVID issue, what you gonna be doing? So you need to do the moral awareness. How you do the awareness? Oh, probably you post something through FB, through what, isn't it? In order to make sure that you share the information. Fairness. You share the information. Yeah. So atau probably dalam engineering new design, you want to implement the new design which is much better, right? So you share, you write, or you make a speech, or you also have appear in TV, for instance, to tell the society. So this is, they call it moral awareness before they go into detail. Lepas tu, what is cognitive moral reasoning? In order to come to a conclusion on an issue, the argument has to be addressed and comprehend. Yeah. So apabila ada awareness, then the people start to argue each other, isn't it? So ini juga penting. Kalau tidak ada argument, tidak ada perbincangan, so that's not be good. So dari segi argument, it should be logical and moral, and plus of course based on the knowledge and experience that you have. So from there, from the knowledge and experience, you'll be discuss that issue. So this is, they call it reasoning. So you mau tengok, kenapa ya? Kenapa benda ni berlaku? Dan ni what decision that you should be made? Sebelum lagi. Jadi bila you dah tahu tu, then you go into next, they call it moral coherence. Yeah? After having gone through a logical and moral facts, you sudah berbincang dari segi moral, dari segi logical, begini-begini, and consistent and comprehensive viewpoint are to be formed. So sudah perbincangan yang luas secara mendalam kan, dalam kamu punya group, dalam kamu punya komiti dan sebagainya. The next point is you have to decide, right? Which one are most acceptable into a certain particular issues. yang mana boleh digunakan ya. Ini dia punya steps kan. So that must be based on the relevant fact lah. Jangan yang tidak betul kan, fakta-fakta yang tidak betul. Misalnya COVID, apa antara fakta-fakta you kena tengok dulu dari tahun dari sebelum Masihi sampai kepada beberapa isu-isu, dan dari sana you learn, right? So bila you belajar, then you bincang dengan yang lain, then after that you finally make a moral coherent. Lepas tu, selepas you dapat benda tu, this is another job of engineer. Engineer must go in imagination. So they call it moral imagination. Let's say you, what's imagination mean? After you already decide these are going to be the things that we are going to consider, to be viewpoint accepted by many, right? What happened if you implement that policies or that things? So you must be able to do some imagination or moral imagination. What will happen? Wah, misalnya katalah macam tadi COVID kan, okay, you katakan MCO. Apa sepatutnya sebelum kamu laksanakan that MCO? You must be able to imagine what's the impact some more. So the moral issue and the practical issue have to be dealt separately ya. So jangan mixkan di antara moral and practical issue. Sometimes it is actually practical, but it is immoral, isn't it? So alternative responses are to be found out of the dealing with the moral issue, while creative solution should be found out from the practical difficulties, right? Macam tadi kan COVID, moral dia kalau kamu tidak buat MCO mungkin akan banyak orang sakit ni semua. Dan apa practical dia? Kalau laksanakan MCO, so you need to have the SOP. That is to address the practical difficulties. If you make it a lot of the SOP, making everyone confused, is it good? It's not practical. So that's why these two has to be looking separately, right? First, moral issue. Another one is they call it practical issue. Jangan nanti bila kamu implement, and then you kata, oh practically you just bagi tahu tidak boleh. Tapi macam mana mau buat dia? You don't know. Everyone keep hanging. Oh katalah university. Oh university we are allowed to be open next year. Yeah. So what? What to do? That they call it, you need to have some imagination as well to look at what are the practical things that you can do to address the difficulties to open it, isn't it? Right? So this is an example. Then you must also have the moral communication. After you get all this done, right? Sebab tu kamu tengok di TV, apa dia orang buat? Dia akan buat communication. Every day they have live, isn't it? Untuk memberitahu kan apa dia SOP dan sebagainya. SOP akan diberitahu oleh menteri. Then yang detail untuk bagi tahu awareness and also the data factual will be given by the pengarah kesihatan. So they're separate, isn't it? So satu, we talk about practical issue, right? Moral issue will be taken by oleh siapa? Dia akan dilihat juga oleh Kementerian Kesihatan dan sebagainya untuk tengok benda tu, isn't it? Then you separate it. So after that, yang last kali adalah communication. Kalau kamu tidak communicate, apa yang kamu buat tu SOP dia macam mana ini semua is very difficult, isn't it? So that's why we talk about practicality. It has to be practical and everyone can implement it. Everyone can understand, right? Not just only you. Let's say you are in the factory. If you impose something, let's say these rules and regulations, sebab moral dia begini, sebab orang accident kamu buat begini, then everyone should understand. Not only the engineer, not only the manager, not only the mesti sampai kepada operators, even the cleaners, they need to understand. So barulah betul. So there must be a moral communication. How you going to deliver things? So this is how you deal atau step to deals with the issue. Okay? So nanti kita akan buat satu case study. Kita akan bagi satu issue. Then I want you to do how you're going to deal with the issue. Right? Macam mana kamu gunakan moral awareness, moral reasoning, moral coherence, moral imagination, and moral communication in order to frame the issue. Right? Okay? Any question? Kita senang bagi contoh sekarang sebab ada COVID. Very clear, isn't it? Pertama, awareness, kita beritahu banyak COVID. Ketiga, berbincang sana sini. That's why, remember last time, during early, saya banyak kali bagi argument. But now, I don't want to do some argument anymore. Because we know that we already now on the stage of moral communication. We have to always communicate and telling the fact what we have. Apa yang ada sekarang. So, it's nothing unless we need to revisit because there are something not really correct in term of the moral coherent atau fake finding ataupun daripada imaginasi kita tu sebenarnya apa yang berlaku sekarang ni sedikit berbeza, mungkin dia perlu revisit. That's a different. But at the moment it seems like this is same. So what we need to do is to keep doing the moral communication only. Yeah. So to telling the people and atau lebih kepada supaya orang sentiasa aware dan sentiasa berterusan. Jangan lupa lah bilangan. Okay. Any question, class?
No, Prof.
Hai, semua okey ha? No Razwa okey ha? Siapa?
Okay.
Ya. Siapa lagi? Mana Saril? Mana Cheryl? Okey. Mana dia? Tiada? Husnina, okey?
Okay, Prof.
Faham kan? Jadi kamu tahu sudah macam mana untuk deal dengan isu? So ingat kalau kamu ada isu di kilang, di apa semua, so just follow these steps, isn't it? Okay? Mesti kamu ada 5D steps. If you don't have the 5 steps, then a bit difficult. That one akan jadi issue. Kalau kamu ada these 5 steps, usually it's no problem. But kalau yang small issue, usually you just straight away make the decision. Kalau issue tu is very straightforward, isn't it? But some issue are not straightforward, isn't it? Are not meant to be straightforward. It's very difficult issue and critical that involve many people. Yeah. Kenapa dia hilang? Okay. Next, the important skill for external reasoning. Ini kita sudah cerita kan tadi. So the engineering ethic and moral issue. This is also issue already been touched, isn't it? We talk about micro and macro, right? Then we go into type of inquiry, inquiry ataupun dekat code of conduct. Bila kamu mau buat inquiry, apa yang kamu perlu buat? Kan? Kata yang buat salah tadi tu kan, ada kesilapan. So, the issue can be resolved. Kalau ada issue, inquiry terhadap satu engineer, what you should do. Right? So, the issue can be resolved by the following an investigation procedure, step by step, in order to have a clear understanding toward the issue. Here we have 3 different type of inquiry. Ada 3 jenis, ya. So judging the issue has to be followed by a systematic procedure to avoid any flaws. Jangan nanti kamu buat judging tu tidak betul, artinya tidak adil, ya. Itu that will become an issue. So engineering ethics involve investigation into value, meanings and fact, isn't it? So pertama kamu kena judge dari segi value, lepas tu dia punya meaning dan dia punya fakta dia. Following are different type of inquiry made for this. What is it? The first they call it normative inquiry. Kedua conceptual inquiry. The third is they call it factual and descriptive inquiry. Yeah. So these are 3, right? Type inquiry. Normative, saya ulang lagi. Normative inquiry, ini kita sudah bincang sebelum tu kan. Conceptual inquiry and factual and descriptive inquiry, ya. So what is the normative inquiry? So the normative inquiry refers to the descriptions that describe what one ought to do under a specific circumstances. Apa yang kamu buat dalam satu keadaan, ini normatif. Kamu dalam keadaan begini. So what you should do? Let's say you don't have anything. You don't have what? So what you should do? Jadi ini dia kan secara big picture. You are looking from the big picture. You don't have support. You don't have what? What you should do? What do you think that the people will do? So this is expected. This is the expected ideal. Ideal. Ideal ni maksudnya yang betul-betul. This is terbaik. Yang terbaik dia boleh buat. This is terbaik respon yang perlu dilakukan. Because under the circumstances, that's what they have, right? So which might differ from what one believe or to be right or wrong, right? You understand? Maksudnya, bila kamu buat sesuatu tu kan, tidak semestinya orang kata itu betul. Mungkin betul dalam keadaan kamu masa tu, right on that particular time and that particular situation. You understand? It means the normative. Cuba kamu bagi contoh. Siapa mau bagi contoh? What is normative inquiry? What does it mean, normative inquiry? Anyone? Anyone can give example? Siapa ya? Oh, kenapa yang lain diam saja? Saya mau tengok siapa yang boleh bagi respon. So, mana sudah? Davia, mana? Ada? Anyone? Do you understand normative inquiry or not? Class? Come on.
Prof.
Yes.
Inquiry question yang normal tak?
Yeah, normative inquiry. Dalam keadaan. Dalam satu keadaan. Ya.
Okay.
Apa contoh dia? Okay, misalnya dalam keadaan macam ni. Okay, kamu yes, please, Tan.
Is it like we ask other about the action is correct or not? For example, is it bad to steal others' idea in doing our assignment?
No. Not that case. Normative is actually more on the bigger picture. The bigger picture. So I give you some examples supaya senang kan. Okay. Katalah, okay, you go, you naik kereta, kan? Some country they don't, tiba-tiba ada accident. Some country they won't allow you to touch, right? Betul kan? Tapi at that time you only alone, and there's someone accident there, okay? And you bring that person pergi hospital. Suddenly on the middle of the perjalanan tu, patient tu meninggal. And then you be subject to inquiry, right? Do you understand?
Okay.
So, do you think that?
What kind of inquiry is like why the person die?
Yeah, why the person die? Now the inquiry, you salah ke tidak salah?
Okay.
You can see, not because of why the person die lagi, sudah tahu kan? Now they go into kenapa you bawa, dia kata kan? The circumstances in it.
Yeah.
Now they are actually under the circumstances in it, specific circumstances. You see that the person already know keadaan terpaksa dan sebagainya. You have to do it. That is, they call it keadaan yang terpaksa. So this is the bigger picture. This is the most things that kamu kena tengok. Okay, for instance, tiba-tiba kamu kecurian, report polis. Apa perlu ditanya mula-mula? Why dia mencuri? Betul kan? Am I told you before, isn't it? Wah, rupanya dia mencuri sebab anak dia tidak makan, ini semua dan sebagainya kan? They have no choice. So this is called circumstances. In certain place, they allow this to be released, right? Sebab this they call it more bigger picture. So then, if you think that itu sudah tiada issue, then they go on the conceptual inquiry. What is conceptual inquiry? Conceptual inquiry refer to the description of the meaning of the concept, principle, and issue related to engineering ethics. Ini lebih kepada you talk about apa dia? Akta. Oh, akta ni begini tidak boleh, akta ni tidak boleh, tapi dia buat, isn't it? Right? So conceptual, isn't it? Katakan the approval before you build a house, you must get the approval, and the plan must be approved by the engineers, isn't it? So that's law says, isn't it? This is conceptual, isn't it? Right? Betul? Kalau tidak buat, then dia sudah salah, betul? It's a clear, isn't it? Conceptual?
Yeah.
Okay. Now you go into factual of it. Tiba-tiba ada chop. Betul? Ada sign. Then you need to check more details, isn't it? Is it factual? Is it betul ke tidak betul? So, the factual inquiry or description inquiry help to provide the fact A for understanding and finding solution to a value-based issue. Engineer is to conduct factual inquiry by using scientific technique. Maksudnya, kalau begitu, betul tidak betul? Wah, mulalah guna scientific technique. Guna ini, guna itu semua kan. Tengok, ini palsu, ini tidak, dan sebagainya. Betul? Itu, you mau dapatkan factual, isn't it? Or descriptive inquiry. Betul? Katalah telefon, kamu hantar dituduh ni semua. Jadi ambil telefon, check semua. Betul? Oh, memang betul daripada kamu yang hantar pergi communication. Kalau tidak, bukan. Simple Katalah kamu post something kan. So the first what they will see, the moral issue, right? Look at, what is the moral normative inquiry, isn't it? Kenapa kamu post? Is it good or what? We don't know. What is the circumstances? Secondly, dia tengok dia punya conceptual. Dari segi MC, salah ke tidak salah. The third, baru dia tengok kalau kamu tidak mengaku, dia tengok on the factual and descriptive inquiry. Now you understand?
Yeah, Prof.
Okay. So, nanti boleh sudah kan? Okay, the next. Itu saja hari ini. So, I think that's our lecture for today. Saya sudah janji, kalau tidak besok, lusa ke you punya kelas?
Yeah, Wednesday morning.
Wednesday. Probably, I'm giving you some test, simple test on the engineering ethics. Yang ni kan, untuk tengok kamu punya jawapan macam mana kan. Sebab saya tidak mau mix kan. Untuk yang board of engineer nanti, we will do it next week lah. Yeah. So, I give you a question, posting you a question. So, within 2 hours nanti, you boleh jawab and you boleh submit, isn't it? So, saya mau tengok you punya kepahaman tentang apa yang kita belajar hari ini. Especially, you are focusing on the step to deal with the issue. Satu. Kedua, dari segi inquiry. Okay? Boleh
Boleh, Prof.
So, you kena faham. Kamu cuba cari. I think better you start cari dari sekarang. Satu contoh untuk steps to deal with the issue. Tapi jangan isu COVID lah. Because that's not engineering. Try to find the engineering issues. Boleh Yang case study. Kalau ada paper lagi bagus.
Apa maksudnya?
Pardon?
What do you mean by cari isu?
Cari yang mana isu yang kamu boleh deal dengan that issue. Steps. Macam isu COVID kan? Macam mana kamu buat awareness dengan masyarakat dan sebagainya. Then you try to find the issue in engineering. Do you have idea? Class?
Not really.
Huh?
Yeah. Not really.
Not really? Okay. For instance, now you talk about isunya sekarang di Sabah adalah pembuangan sisa wastewater from the palm oil actually has people say that has pollute the river, betul? Betul ke tidak? Menyebabkan sungai-sungai tercemar secara general dia kan? Tapi tidak banyak pun factory yang disaman, betul? Disebabkan oleh pelepasan sisa yang berlebihan. So where it come from? How do you deal with this issue? There's an example. That's the issue kan? Ada isu ke tidak? Isu dia sungai tercemar, betul? Nur Azwa, yes?
Betul. Yes, betul, Prof.
Tapi mana factory yang sudah banyak kena saman?
Tiada.
Ada jugalah menggali 1-2 kan. You don't say tiada, nanti jawatan alam sekitar may bombard me, you know. I was doing online. I know there are some kami being summoned as well. Tapi tidak banyak lah kan. Tapi we look at the whole picture, majority people complain, oh sungai sudah tercemar. Sungai sudah tercemar disebabkan mostly dia kata because of industry. One of the industry yang banyak bagi pollution is the palm oil. So, how you deal with the issue? Now you understand? Class?
Then we have to find out how to deal with the issue, is it?
Yes, yes. You can have how you deal with the issue using the steps that I have told you. We have 5 steps, isn't it?
The moral awareness.
Yes, yeah.
Moral, okay.
Jadi kamu plan dia macam mana kan? Steps dia, isn't it? Okay, another one, they call it the inquiry, isn't it? We talk about the inquiry, ya. The inquiry juga kamu kena belajar juga the engineering ethics or moral issue untuk buat inquiry, ya. So we talk about 3, isn't it? Normative inquiry, conceptual inquiry, dan factual and descriptive inquiry. So these 3 you should do it, isn't it? Of course ada setengah tu you just do the factual and descriptive inquiry. Tapi for a big case, usually you will start with the normative inquiry, lepas tu conceptual inquiry, then you go for factual. Some probably you just go for conceptual and factual. Some probably just straight away to the factual and descriptive inquiry because it's straight to the point, right? Tapi macam mana pun, it is better to write dari ketiga-tiga daripada normative inquiry, conceptual inquiry, and factual and descriptive inquiry. You understand maksudnya? Okay.
Sorry, Prof.
Okay, example. For instance, example lah. Kamu nampak kan apa yang berlaku dengan letupan di mana? Di Johor, Pengerang kan? You understand? You know that?
No.
No, yang dulu kan, yang meletup kan, terbakar.
Don't know.
Oh, oil and gas, the tank tu explode, burn.
Saya tidak tahu, Prof. Tak tahu. Saya tak tahu.
Saya tahu. Okay, satu lagi case di Labuan, bila dia fuel, bila dia mengisi dia punya tangki, tangki untuk pengangkutan metanol, suddenly di kapal tu dia punya tangki tu meletup. I think killing, I'm not sure, 5 or 6 of the worker. So ini subject into the inquiry, isn't it? So what sort of inquiry that you should do? First, normative inquiry, conceptual inquiry, and fact and descriptive inquiry. Ya faham?
Pergi mahkamah kah, Prof? Mahkamah.
Ya, ini proses di mahkamah lah. Tapi sebelum di mahkamah biasanya kamu kena buat internal inquiry dulu kan, betul?
Ya.
Ya, to do internal inquiry, you must do the normative inquiry first, conceptual inquiry, then finally factual and descriptive inquiry.
Okay, ini before mahkamah lah.
I mean, of course, you internally you need to do it as well, isn't it? Betul kan?
Ya.
Nanti kalau you sudah jadi senior engineer dan sebagainya, you was asked to do it, you already professional engineer, you asked to investigate certain cases, then this is what you should do, right? You understand?
So,
Ada siapa lagi mau tanya soalan? Sudah paham dua-dua tu? Yes. Salini.
For the type of inquiry to relate to engineering cases juga.
Yes,
ke,
my
or
dear.
any general case?
Yes, my dear. You're pleased to do it on engineering. But anyway, if you don't find the engineering one, but I'm sure that there are a lot, you could also find different lah. No problem. As long as relate to our, as long as you understand lah. I'm not really force you toward engineering. Probably nanti you kerja tiba-tiba kan, Shalini kerja dekat bank pula kan, kena sebuah inquiry, then at least you understand lah, betul kan? Mana tahu tiba-tiba jadi mana-mana kan, kerja mana-mana kena buat internal inquiry. You don't know, suddenly kan, you become the panels, you already super senior, then you try to look at these three level of inquiry, isn't it? Yang di atas tu untuk satu lagi untuk solve the issue, isn't it? Different kan? Can you see the two different?
Yes, bro.
Salini, you nampak tak? Yang di atas tu untuk you sebagai engineer untuk dapatkan penyelesaian kan? Yang kedua ni lebih kepada menentukan wrong or right, right? Okay. Any question? Yang lain tidak tanya? Saya tidak mau bagi banyak lecture juga. I give you to think. Then what I need you to do is actually untuk cari sedia lah minggu ni. So hari what is it? Wednesday, isn't it? What time Wednesday? 10? 9 So dari jam 9 tu kamu hantar dulu siapa yang punya ketua kelas lupa saya. Tan
Juhian, Tang.
Saya.
okay. You buat satu list. Kawan-kawan you pilih sama ada you mau buat they call it steps for deal with issue ataupun you mau buat inquiry So you buat nama, steps dalam grup boleh kan?
Prof, so maksud ada two main category Satu is inquiry, satu yang lain tu step punya.
Ya. Satu tu kamu kerja di kilang, macam mana kamu menyelesaikan masalah-masalah technical atau masalah-masalah something kan?
Okay.
Yang inquiry ni menentukan salah betul. Okay? Wrong or right, right?
Betul.
Okay. So, you ada berapa grup dalam kelas?
Kita ada 8.
Okay, bagi 2, 4.
Okay.
Okay, tapi lain-lain isu
Okay. So later I make a list.
You make a list. Sekarang you ada 1 jam. You have 1 hour to do it. And then next week you boleh communicate dengan kawan terus hantar. Kalau you buat awal, next week pula. Rabu. Nanti Rabu nanti saya akan masuk sekejap. Ketua kumpulan explain apa yang you buat. Ada 8 lah. So 8 will be explain. Very short, probably about just 3 to 5 minutes. Yang panjang tu kamu submit dalam Google Classroom. Boleh?
Okay, boleh.
Okay, so means that Wednesday what you need to do is only to explain a bit lah. Ketua kumpulan ataupun you punya wakil lah. 1 orang saja. I'm not going to ask you question because I will read you punya jawapan menerusi apa dia? You punya paperwork
maksud sekarang like example my group kan they choose inquiry. So me and my group mates have to like discuss right now and then make satu paper and then Wednesday present.
Cara yang paling senang untuk kamu dapatkan, kamu cari dekat Google apa semua, cari dia panggil case study. Okay? Ini sebenarnya case study ni.
Boleh. Nanti Prof boleh upload itu dia punya title kat itu Google Classroom tak?
Yes, itu sekejap saya akan upload lepas ni.
Okay. So,
tapi kamu ready dulu lah. Jangan dulu kamu ready nanti tinggal submit saja. Okay
Prof,
Yes.
jadi ini kiranya group work atau test esok?
Ya, group work lah.
Group work.
Ya. Sebab besok supaya kamu faham benda ni, because this is important lah. Kalau kamu tidak faham ni susah. This become a lot of issue. Engineer kan, dia
betul.
banyak isu benda-benda ni kan. So kamu boleh cite example lah, contoh-contoh tertentu kan. Yang kalau dari segi inquiry tu lagi senang sebab banyak kes-kes mahkamah kan.
Okay.
Tapi kalau
I like
pardon?
mereka pilih lah.
Ya. Tapi kalau macam isu tu kamu ingat ke isu pasal kilang di mana? Di Pahang. Kilang apa dia? Apa ni? Rare Earth punya kilang.
tahu ah.
Dah Ray Earth punya pembersihan tu.
Linus lah, Linus.
Linus.
Oh, Linus.
So that is nice to be steps to discuss on the steps, isn't it? For the issue, right? Steps to deal with the issue, kan? That's another example lah. Yeah. Okay,